evening. This is the Vsb Tv 11 News for Wednesday, March the 5th. I'm Peter Cattell. Our top story. The streets of Hamilton rang once again today with the sound of marching workers. This time it was union members from marine and ports and public transportation protesting government's plan to make transportation an essential service. While the buses and ferries lay idle for 2.5 hours, the BIU members first met to discuss the plan and then went looking for the island's parliamentarians as they emerged from the House of Assembly. BIU President Chris Furberd was the first to speak, followed by former BIU President and PLP Deputy Leader Derek Burgess, and then, to a raucous reception, came Premier Craig Kennedy.
When we look at making public transportation an essential service, we don't see the need for that. It's not a matter of life and limb. When you look at the reason why we made all those areas essential back in 1975, whether it was hospital, whether it was docks, whether it was telco, whether it was the Balco, you look at all those services. Those are essential services as relates to life and death situations. This, when we look at public transportation, this is not a life and death situation. So we can't wonder, we're wondering why the LBA government now decided that they want to make the buses and the ferries an essential service, and marine ports and DPT an essential service. That, when you look at some of the comments that were made in the paper today, it's a form of union busing, and I'll say this to you, it can't be described as anything else other than that. This is not 1834. We're not going back to slavery. We're not going back on the plantations. It's certainly not going to happen. We intend to report the LBA government to the experts at the ILO for his violation of the workers' right to strike.
You heard Fahey on the TV last night said he consulted with the union. That's rubbish. He did not consult the union, and that's all this government does. They say one thing and does the other. Be careful. Be careful always, right? The union, you must stand up for your rights. And these issues here, you got to take to your feet, because they're trying to privatize you. They're trying to cause unemployment with the workers, right? Attack those people that are responsible. You know, we can't take this no longer, right? This is 2014. This is not 1962, right? But we can go back to 65 if you want to. We can go back to 81, or we can go back to 91.
It is vitally important that as we look at essential services concerning these departments, that to the people of Bermuda we be responsible, to the young kids and to the seniors who are catching the buses and the ferries, that we, listen to me, let me finish, let me finish, let me finish, let me finish. There has to be a limit, and what we want is a responsible way of being able to say, if there is a need and we have a disagreement and that we are going to put down our tools, that we give the people of Bermuda a responsible time to be able to do that, and not overnight. That's what we're looking for. So let me finish. 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 I need to finish. Let me finish first. Let me finish. You need to let me finish. Listen. I'm trying to finish so you can have something to say. And so we're looking for a way forward for everyone. This is not for any special interest group or to leave anyone out. This is about all of us moving forward with this thing. And so I will be speaking to the Minister Fay, about this concern, and then we will go from there. But I do need to hear what the concerns are, but I take exception to the fact that the deputy of the opposition leader will say that this is about losing jobs and we're looking to take away jobs. That is not the case. No one has lost their jobs. No one has lost their jobs.
Minister of Home Affairs, Senator Michael Fay, said this afternoon that the major disruption caused to both the local and the visiting population by wildcat transportation walkouts is hurting not only our overseas reputation, but also the fragile economy. And he emphasized that he has been discussing the idea of making transportation an essential service for the past year.
There are some who want to characterize what we're doing that this legislation is union busting. Nothing could be further from the truth. We wholeheartedly believe in protecting the rights of workers, employers, and our residents in introducing this bill. We must see the end of our school children being stranded by the roadside. We must see the end of employees missing out on badly needed paychecks because they can't get to work. We must see the end of tourists trying to thumb rides to town to spend money in our shops. And we must see the end of waiting of our seniors for a bus that never comes. In short, adequate notice is not unreasonable to have. It is logical and it is sensible. We are continuing the process of updating the Bermuda legislation to more adequately reflect best practices in other jurisdictions. I give homage to those unionists who worked and continue to work for workers' rights. With that said, I must reiterate that there are collective bargaining agreements in place now between unions, employers, and government. There's a statutory framework that is too often ignored. The ILO makes it clear that when these frameworks are in place, they are there for a reason. As the minister responsible for labor, it is my duty to ensure that those frameworks are followed. This bill will add to the statutory framework and give economic certainty for all concerned. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to collaborate and develop a relationship. Governments and unions need not be at odds. It is my hope that we can see our way through this impasse and get to a place of reconciliation.
Transport Minister Sean Crockwell was called upon by Independent MP Terry Lister in Parliament today to explain why nothing has been done to lower the legal blood level for drunken driving and empower the police to take random samples from motorists. Here is his answer.
In March of last year, I provided a ministerial statement that presented 2 initiatives to improve safety on our roads. They included seeking cabinet approval and reducing the legal blood alcohol level and the ability to make roadside sobriety testing admissible in court. Subsequently, further internal research was undertaken by our ministry on the blood alcohol rates worldwide. The data tends to show that Bermuda is probably on average with the CARICOM, US, and United Kingdom. What also was apparent as commonplace in other jurisdictions was the ability for the police to take samples of breath right at the roadside and have that information presented as admissible evidence. Our ministry also consulted with and received correspondence from the food and beverage industry who expressed concern that lowering the legal blood alcohol limit may have a detrimental effect on their industry, with potential clients choosing not to eat out in restaurants. The associated challenges with the availability of public transportation late at night and in the early hours of the morning was also highlighted as a component that needs to be factored into an holistic approach in addressing the drinking and driving sobriety issues. Following our research and stakeholder outreach, our ministry decided to defer the proposed reduction in the blood alcohol limit and continue to work very closely with the Road Safety Council and CARTA to increase public awareness on drinking and driving and to also focus on changing the drink culture. Although the proposed initiatives have been deferred, it is still the intent of our ministry to progress these initiatives in collaboration with the Bermuda Police Service and the Attorney General's chambers.
On Monday, March 3rd, we ran stories on the proposed changes to health benefits on VSB radio and TV, using Health Minister Trevor Moniz' revelation that the local parents of twins that had to be flown overseas for treatment had been helped by the taxpayers to the tune of $500,000 because they were uninsured. We made the incorrect assumption that the minister was talking about the miracle twins and used a photograph of them, although no names were included. We have since been informed by the parents of the miracle twins that they are insured and are not the subject of the minister's comment or our report. We would like to apologize to them for any distress this misunderstanding has caused. Still ahead on the TV 11 News, Rachel Sorden with the weather preview.
Thanks, Peter. Unsettled conditions through Saturday. For right now, not much activity on the radar, even though there is a forecast for a chance of shower later. So please stay tuned for the full weather report as we take a closer look at the weekend.
The weather radar picture provided courtesy of the Ministry of Transport on Vsb Tv 11.
Save $1.10 per pound on fresh Purdue chicken leg quarters, only $1.69 per pound. Imported Snow White cauliflower, just $3.99 each. Wise potato chips, all varieties, $1.49 for a 3.75-ounce bag. Buy Yoplait yogurts, just $1.09 for a 6-ounce tub. Ajax regular or with bleach 2-Axe laundry detergent, only $4.99 for a 50-ounce bottle. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more weekly specials.
You can count on us.
For much more furniture, visit Bermuda's only Ashley Furniture Gallery. Big Savings Zone. You want the best? Forget the rest. For all your furniture needs, shop Big Savings Zone and support your local retailers. Have you ever ordered something online expecting it to be a certain price, but when it arrives it ends up being a whole lot more? Beware of those unexpected hidden fees. That never happens at Big Savings Zone. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Big Savings Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
Daylight saving time starts early Sunday morning. Don't forget to put your watches and clocks forward 1 hour before retiring on Saturday night. A timely reminder from Swiss Timing, the world's fine timepieces, all at 95 Front Street.
With Cell One, you simply get more. More 4G speed and reliability across the island. More warranty coverage from the only carrier authorized to resell Apple iPhones in Bermuda. More first-class service with our 24/7 customer care, whether you're in-store, on the phone, or online. More services, mobile phones, long distance, and home internet, all with one company. Get more with one. Cell One.
Bermuda is an easy way to find great discounts while discovering fun activities to do in Bermuda.
Discover the best spas, restaurants, activities, services, and shops at 50% off.
Sign up to Bermudials and start saving today.
A joint select committee chaired by OBA Whip Cole Simons has been looking at the manner in which the legislature operates in Bermuda when compared with other Commonwealth countries. Tabling their report this morning, Mr. Simons gave some of the recommendations the committee has come up with, including moving the Senate to the Sessions House.
A major key finding was that our legislature did not measure up in the areas of organizational effectiveness. Also, the committee discovered it is widely recognized that in terms of accountability and the appropriate relationship between the executive and the legislature, a commission of parliamentarians from across the political spectrum should manage the legislature and administer its budget, which should not be subject to the review of the executive. Mr. Speaker, the report contains several recommendations. Some are as follows. A new independent body known as the Management Commission responsible for the administration of the legislature should be established. 2. House committees should meet on a regular basis. 3. Adequate staffing is needed in areas such as editorial and reporting, security, library research, public information, independent legal support, accounting support, IT support, facilities, and maintenance. 4. The Senate chamber should be located in the same building as the House of Assembly so that the legislature could be contained under one roof. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, I am confident that this report will be the catalyst in developing policies and legislation aimed at reforming this historic institution. Reorganizing the legislature's management structure is important and will enhance areas of transparency and accountability.
A 28-year-old man appeared in magistrate's court this morning and pleaded guilty to importing a BB gun into Bermuda. Devon Hodgson was further charged with damaging an electronic monitoring device. However, he pleaded not guilty. The court heard that Hodgson imported the BB gun through L.F. Wade International Airport in August of 2013. Customs had performed a secondary search on the defendant as he was making his way through the airport. While they were searching his bags, they came upon parts of a dismantled BB gun. Initially, the defendant told Customs that they were parts for a toy for his child, but he later admitted to police that the parts were for the BB gun. Hodgson had originally appeared in court on the matter of the BB gun in August 2013 at which time he was given bail and ordered to wear an electronic monitoring device, which he has allegedly damaged since then. Hodgson will reappear in court for sentencing on the BB gun charge in April and was remanded in custody in the meantime. Residents in the Paget and Devonshire area are being reminded to be vigilant with securing their homes and looking out for suspicious activity after a string of burglaries in both parishes. 6 reported burglaries took place earlier this week in the Trimmingham Hill, Seabright Avenue, Paget area and the Watlington Road and Jubilee Road area of Devonshire. Residents are encouraged to secure their homes by ensuring all windows and doors are locked before leaving their property unattended. Air conditioning units should also be secured, and it is recommended that residents record all numbers of valuables and serial numbers of electronic goods. In the event that any personal property is stolen and later recovered, these items can be more easily identified. Members of the public should report any suspicious activity seen in their neighborhoods by calling police on 295-0011. Now, here are the daily markets, presented by Bias.
Here are the daily markets presented by Bias. Capital markets reacted to economic news and negotiations between European nations, U.S. and Russia over the Ukraine crisis. U.S. stocks were little changed from yesterday, in spite of weaker than estimated payrolls and services data. Dow Jones closed at 16,360, down 2.22%. 206,431 shares of Bank of Butterfield changed hands. The price remains unchanged at $1.99 per share. Other Bermuda-related stocks listed in the U.S. posted modest gains. Most European stocks retreated as the U.S. servicing and hiring data missed economists' forecasts. The FTSE fell 0.71% to 6,775 at the close of trading in London. Japanese stocks rose to a one-week high. The Nikkei share average ended 1.2% higher at 14,898. The Hang Seng Index finished down 0.34% amid concern over a Chinese corporate bond default. Brazil's Vsb Index slid 1.07% as refined copper demand growth is set to slow 12% from last year. The index closed at 46,589 points. U.S. Treasury prices rose and yields fell after reports showed that U.S. companies' hiring expansion was slower than forecasted. The dollar weakened versus major counterparts after weaker than forecast jobs data added to concern that the U.S. economy had been slowed by a harsh winter. That's a look at the daily markets presented by Bias. There's more news after the break.
Imported red ripe strawberries just $4.99 for a 1-pound package. Roast of fresh certified Angus beef bottom round roast, $6.29 per pound. All varieties of Breyer's ice cream just $6.99 for a 48-ounce tub. Bounty Select a size paper towel, only $3.19 for 1 roll. All varieties of Sargento shredded cheese just $3.99 for an 8-ounce package. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Copyfax is Bermuda's authorized Samsung dealer. See a large range of Samsung color and black and white multifunctional machines, printers, scanners, faxes, and copiers, and all net workable. Copyfax has Samsung machines suitable for home, office, or any size business in an A4 format, taking up less room than other similar equipment. And replacement supplies are in stock for all of their Samsung products. Affordable shopping at Copyfax Limited, where service comes first.
5 studio albums, countless awards, and has landed on the top 30 charts. All this including stints at the Beijing and Vancouver Olympics and the Pan Am Games in Mexico, he has accomplished from a wheelchair. Canadian singer and inspirational speaker Justin Hines is attending a professional development seminar at Windreach, Bermuda. Clearly, his physical situation has not impeded his growth.
Well, I've kind of got this theory that we're all capable of a little bit more than we think we are, no matter what our situation is. So I guess ultimately I would love to find myself in a position where I'm encouraging kids to really believe in their passions and the things that, you know, drive them in life. So that's kind of our goal. I think all of us have something to offer. It's just a matter of being nurtured to the point where we can figure what that is. I mean, I have a very public life and a very public career, but I think every contribution to the world is an important one. So that's kind of, you know, part of the things I like to talk about.
So you've had quite a record of motivational speaking. How do you differentiate between the types of groups you're speaking to?
Yeah, it's definitely important to know your audience and be empathetic to what their journey might be and, you know, where they're at in life. So, you know, for me, I've been fortunate because I've had a lot of eventful things happen to me both in school and now, you know, my professional life. So it's just a matter of figuring out what the audience is and what would resonate with them.
But now you started at 14. How have your experiences changed over the few years since that time?
Well, as a kid, I was a kid, so I had very kid-like perspectives, and, you know, I was in the big bad world trying to do the singing thing. And now, you know, I've done a little bit of traveling and a little bit older and met all kinds of different people with different stories and different perspectives. And it's just a matter of, you know, conveying that we're just all in this thing together, and we all have our joys, our strengths, our pains, or whatever. We've all got these things, so it's just a matter of celebrating that and, you know, figuring out how we can contribute to this world.
Now, you've done a lot. Anything planned for the immediate future?
I'm loving Bermuda. That's the immediate future. I think this is one of the best first impression places I've ever been to, so right now I'm enjoying this.
There was plenty of excitement and a good turnout during World Tennis Day this week. The Bermuda Lawn Tennis Association's Vice President, David Lambert, acknowledged 5 teams, as well as the Executive Committee and Pro Registry. Sports Minister Wayne Scott was on hand to applaud tennis officials and players at the W.E.R. Joel Stadium.
Welcome to World Tennis Day 2014. Please give Minister Scott a warm welcome. He has a few words. Thank you. Minister Scott.
Thank you. Good afternoon and thank you. Again, to all of our sponsors and parents and athletes and everyone, it gives me great pleasure to just say a few words on this World Tennis Day. I think there are 170 odd member nations that are involved with World Tennis Day, and each of them are doing their part. And when you look at all of the benefits that tennis brings to our community, all of our athletes that have done so very well, and a lot of the up-and-coming little ones who are involved in tennis, I must say that this is one of the great sports that we have in our country, and the programs that you have going on here are exceptional, so thank you. And you know, again, our sponsors, we couldn't do this without you, and I know our parents just spend endless amount of hours following their kids around, so thank you very much. And again, for all that the Bermuda Tennis Association does do, I do appreciate you, and government definitely supports what you're doing, so thank you.
Thank you. What we want to do is to acknowledge a couple of teams and players, and as you know, the BLTA became full members of the ITF in 1994. And that allows us to participate in the Junior Davis Cup, Junior Fed Cup, Davis Cup. One of our teams just returned back from overseas, and we have the 14 and unders that are traveling the end of this month, Fed Cup, which is traveling in April, and Davis Cup traveling in June.
Choose to be healthy, Bermuda. Get out there and exercise with a sunscreen, hat, and shirt on every day. Eat healthy. Don't smoke, And check your brown spots once a month to detect skin cancer early. Anything growing darker, bigger, jagged borders needs to be checked. Wear your sunscreen, hat, and shirt every day. Be sun safe, Bermuda.
Daylight saving time starts early Sunday morning. Don't forget to put your watches and clocks forward 1 hour before retiring on Saturday night. A timely reminder from Swiss Timing, the world's fine timepieces, all at 95 Front Street.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's VSB weather forecast. Our weather shot is brought to us by David Patterson, taken this morning at Ocean View Golf Course. Gorgeous morning to be out on the greens. Beautiful blue skies, nice calm winds, beautiful conditions. We had kind of a threat of some gray clouds passing by, but luckily they were just passing by. And it was a beautiful afternoon as well. Thank you, David, for sending in this shot. Temperatures for today, we had a high of 71 at 9:30 in the morning and a low of 67 at 12 in the morning. Current conditions, 68 degrees, humidity 70%, winds southwest 8 knots, and barometric pressure is falling slowly at 30.03 inches. Rainfall index for the month of March, 1.06 for a yearly total of 15.37. Yearly normal for this time is 11.03 inches. And looking at the satellite, a developing low to our west-northwest will move across the area tonight. A few light showers will develop tonight and persist through Thursday. A cold front will begin to approach the area Friday, bringing rain and showers with winds increasing to strong by Friday evening and a risk of thunder Saturday morning. Conditions begin to settle on Sunday. And look at the gateway cities. Atlanta, rain 45, Boston, mostly cloudy and 28, Charlotte, rain likely 42, London, partly cloudy and 58, Miami 82, mostly cloudy, New York 31, mostly cloudy, Orlando 79, rain likely, Philadelphia mostly cloudy 36, Toronto mostly cloudy 21, Washington mostly cloudy and 37 degrees. And back at home tonight, mostly cloudy with a few showers developing overnight, low near 65, winds variable 5 to 10 knots, and then veering southwest 5 to 10 knots, and then increasing to 10 to 15 knots overnight. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a few morning showers easing later with a high near 70, winds west-southwest 12 to 18 knots, then becoming light and variable, and then veering easterly 8 to 12 knots overnight. Marine tonight, no warnings, seas inside the reef 1 to 2 feet, seas outside the reef 4 to 7 feet, sea surface temperature is 68 degrees. And marine tomorrow, no warnings, seas inside the reef 1 to 2 feet, seas outside the reef 4 to 7 feet, low tide will be at 6:15 in the morning and high tide will be at noon. And looking at the 5-day forecast, Friday, cloudy with periods of rain or showers, heavy at times late, windy, high near 71. Saturday, cloudy, rain or showers, risk of thunder early, clearing later, windy with a high near 71. Sunday, partly cloudy, windy with a high near 67. And Monday, partly cloudy with a high near 65. Thank you to Fred Briley, our meteorologist for tonight, and everyone at the Bermuda Weather Service. I'm Rachel Sodden. Have a great evening.
It's a beautiful morning.
Hear Keeble the Captain Burgess on Mix 106 FM weekday mornings 6:30 to 11:30. Great music, features, and your requests.
Beautiful morning.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll look forward to your company tomorrow night. Good night.
Peter Cattell's attire, courtesy of A.S. Cooper & Sons Limited. Wardrobe and makeup for Rachel Sordon, provided by Gibbons Company.